Greetings. Welcome to the Montco Focus. I am Pat Burns, and I am the past president of the Montco Chamber. And we service with about 800 members the greater Norristown area and other surrounding areas like Ambler, Wissahickon, Conshohocken, et cetera, in Montgomery County. This show is put on in conjunction with the Norristown Area High School here at the studios and in conjunction with the students who are our audience today. They're with DECA, which is the Distributive Educational Clubs of America, and FBLA, which is Future Business Leaders of America. And the students have picked the forum for all of our shows. Hopefully you've seen a few on college and careers and what have you. Today's show is what does it take to become a professional athlete? And we've got some great guests here today, and I'd like to introduce you to our first one. Our first guest was born and raised in Norristown, Pennsylvania, and still lives in the area. And he's a graduate of Kendrick. He began learning Taekwondo at the age of 7 and received his black belt in 1993. He is the light heavyweight champion as of April of 1999 and holds 4 titles in other organizations in the U.S. He currently operates Fit Kicks, which is in the Gold's Gym in Oaks, and his name is Randy Pogue. Randy, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, it's going to be great. Now, our next guest is a Chicago native, and he resides in Norristown and trains in Norristown. And he is considered one of heavyweight boxing's premier prospects. He turned pro in 1994. His current record is 31-1 with 22 knockouts. He's held heavyweight titles in the IBC and the NABF. And for me, personally, it's a delight to have Michael here today. I've been to his fight with Andrew Galata in November. I'm a fight fan. I was raised in the era of Muhammad Ali, watched his fights with my dad, and I'm thrilled to be sitting next to a heavyweight contender of the world. Michael Grant, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And our student today is Mike Fazio. Mike works here in the Communications Center and is a member of DECA, and he's a junior here at the high school. All right, Mike, you want to get our show started?
Yes.
What have you got for these guys?
First, I have a question for Michael. Michael, how did you get started in your profession?
It was quite an odd turn for me. I started out playing football and basketball for college, Cal State Fullerton in California. During my redshirt season, I wasn't academically fit, so I had the redshirt for the system. So during that time, I started boxing on the side as a hobby. And then, I had to do a full year in redshirt. So what happened from that point, that was a year in boxing that I contribute. So I pretty much just turned it all over to boxing because I started fighting amateur and then started really hopping over obstacles that was people couldn't believe at the time. So of the talent and everything that was progressing so fast in the sport. So I just pretty much gave it all full time to boxing. And then I kind of left the football and basketball to the side, and one day led to another.
So you hear that? What started as a hobby is now
It started as a hobby, now it's a career, yeah.
I have to interject here just for 1 minute for our TV viewing audience. Students, you knew this. You saw Michael walk in here. But if I could have Mike and Mike just stand up for a second. Mike Fazio. Stand up. Mike's 5'5". 5'5". You got to see the size of Michael Grant. That I just have to see that. Would you want to walk into a Thank you. Okay. Did you have that same question for Randy?
I got started in the martial arts at a very young age. Was just played around, bounced around school to school, messing around with friends, things like that. Was always attracted to boxing. Never really had the opportunity. Wasn't much in the suburbs as far as boxing goes. Didn't start boxing until college. Saw somebody walking around with a Penn State boxing T-shirt on, and went and asked the questions. Got involved in boxing for a couple of years, and then my last year of college took a kickboxing match, and that was pretty much sealed it for me. So. Been boxing and kickboxing ever since, and that's it.
All right, well, thank you.
Sure.
Oh, that's great. All right, audience, what do we have for these gentlemen? Sure, do you want to stand up and give us your name and...
My name is Jason Session. I'm a senior here at Norristown High School. I'm in FBLA and DECA. And I want to ask both of you, how many hours a week do each of you train?
Mike?
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. A week or per day?
Per day, per day.
Okay. Now, good way to look at it. I break it up. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday consists of 6 hours, and like the Tuesdays and Thursdays, trainers consist of 3 hours. I try to balance it out like that. I don't want to work hard each and every day because you don't want to burn yourself out. But a total of, if I was combining that, I never really totaled up my hours during the week, but it's like 6 on every other day, 6 hours. And every off day is like 3 hours.
Mike, when you're training for an upcoming fight, is there more training involved, or do you just keep that schedule? That's your schedule, whether there's a fight next Friday or a month from Friday?
That pretty much remains the schedule throughout the training camp, pretty much throughout, as when training is over and I'm walking around, that remains my schedule also.
Okay. How hard do you work?
I kind of do more of a training for a particular fight, and then when I'm not training, because I'm teaching classes and working out, I'm always working out, so it's a couple hours a day just in teaching classes. When it comes fight time, in addition to the classes that I'm teaching, it's another 2.5 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Next question.
Hi, my name's Jason Van Buskirk, and I'm a member of DECA, and I was wondering if you guys had any idols when you were young growing up that you looked up to?
Randy?
Well, coming from a martial arts background, I was an enormous Bruce Lee fan. I mean, it's not really a big shocker, but he, 30 years ago and till today, still remains the standard by which other martial artists are judged. So that was probably my biggest idol as far as that goes.
I like Bruce Lee myself, but definitely he wasn't my idol. I think more back when I was growing up. I grew up when I was a teenager in the era days when Walter Payton was running the ball and when he was back with the Bears. So I think Walter Payton was pretty much one of my high influences because when I was in high school, he came to my high school and spoke. So that kind of rocketed me to go his direction on becoming successful. So I can pretty much agree with and also lean away towards Walter Payton was my idol coming up.
Okay.
As you can see, well, for myself, not for Randy, that being me becoming a professional athlete in boxing, it wasn't a boxer that pretty much inspired me to want to box. It was I was driven by something else. It was the way I was raised or something like that. What just kicked me off. It wasn't the sport of another athlete that of boxing, Muhammad Ali. It wasn't Muhammad Ali. It wasn't Larry Holmes. It wasn't Joe Frazier. Nobody like that. It was another sport. It was just the character of being an athlete. So that's what I wanted to be.
Hello, my name's Kirk Barry, and I'm a senior at Norristown Area High School, and I'm also a part of DECA and FBLA. I just like to ask the two of you, how do you get mentally focused for your match or for, your boxing in the ring? How much time do you spend on it? How important is it?
Okay.
Good question. Well, you have a scheduled fight. It's good question. You have a scheduled fight, and pretty much you take a whole mental impact on the fight. The fight is pretty much mentally and like 10% physical, and you prepare yourself by seeing yourself for each fight. Not every fight, but for each fight, you take one fight at a time. You don't take 10 fights at a time. I'm gonna fight this one, then I'm gonna go fight Leroy next, and then I'm gonna fight Jason next, and you take each fight at a time, and you focus on the individual, meaning you see yourself walking up to the ring, you see yourself practicing those same moves you worked on in the gym, because that's the part that's difficult, transferring everything from the practice gym into the ring, and that's what you want to do is you just keep focusing on seeing yourself, going over and over and over the motions, over the moves, and and preparing yourself with the trainers. That's going to keep reiterating those thoughts in your mind and staying focused to the point, because you want to be sharp. A lot of people go through nervousness, but nervousness is good. Nervousness keeps you sharp. So just staying focused is definitely a benefit, and you never want to lose track of that. But like I said, by jumping forward and say, oh, well, we're going to play next week. After that, then play, as far as you play football or basketball, don't look to the bigger school who got the best team. You look to the next school and the next school, the next school. You take each team and each athlete at a time. So that truly focuses, plays a long part with that as you go along. Right.
Yeah, I think I spend more time trying to not think about the fight coming up than thinking about the fight, as opposed to something like a football game or a basketball game where no matter what goes on, you start off a little slow, you come out of the gates hot. The game's going to last 60 minutes. With a sport like boxing or wrestling or kickboxing, if you zig when you should have zagged, it's over. So you're always preoccupied with making sure that you're doing everything right. And I really try and spend a lot of time getting it out of my mind and working on the task at hand. If this is a day that I'm working on feet, or this is a day I'm working on hands, I'm working on speed, I try and just focus on that and not really get myself wrapped up in the thoughts. I really only take time to focus on the actual fight maybe an hour beforehand. I don't spend the whole day sweating and churning and rolling things over in my head and getting myself all worked up, because I might spend a couple rounds worth of energy just in being tense during the day. So I try to stay as relaxed as possible, enjoying myself, and then maybe an hour, 2 hours before the fight, spend some time alone, getting focused, thinking about what I need to do. Like Mike said, going over all the things that you've been working on over the past 6 to 8 weeks in training camp, getting your act together and making sure it's all sharp and ready to go.
Do either of you review tapes of who you're about to fight as part of your training?
Unfortunately, with the way that kickboxing goes, it's a little bit more of a grassroots type of thing than pro boxing.
Thought.
So I don't really have much of an opportunity to see.
Tapes.
It's a luxury if I can wind up finding a tape on somebody.
So you're walking into an unknown.
Right.
Generally, when you walk into
and after a while,
match.
you kind of get used to it. I mean, I'm sure when Mike, the first 20 fights that he had, you're not fighting guys that are really particularly known that you would have tapes on, and you just got to get used to it.
Absolutely.
And then you get to really start to relish the idea that you have a tape on somebody. It's great.
This might be like a total girl question here, but there's girls in the audience. Do you ever worry about getting hurt? Is that? I mean, I would worry about getting hurt. Do you worry about that before you step into the ring?
It's first, just like fighting a person that you have no whereabouts about. It's, the first couple of fights, you think about that,
Yeah.
But as you grow and get better, and you don't think about it anymore. You just think about your technique more than anything.
Right.
But coming out the gate as a novice,
Yeah.
of course, that's like, you got your family out there. You don't want to get knocked out. He's like, oh man.
Yeah, after spending so much time in training, you start to, you get well past the idea that what if this punch hurts? You just start working on your stuff. Which isn't to say that you can't get injured. I've been injured in fights, but you never walk into it thinking, oh, what if this happens?
Right.
Right. I think I'd still be worried. Okay, what else do we have out here? Yes. Mike, would you pass the mic back? Thanks.
My name is Kenrick Marsh. I'm a member of FBLA, 11th grade, and I want to know if you guys face any obstacles trying to accomplish your goals in life.
Oh, that's a good question. And how many?
How many obstacles is the question?
Or what are they?
What are they?
Yeah.
Wow. Recent. Oh, sorry. Randy?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Recently, I can adjust that towards 2 avenues. Obstacles, I can adjust towards 2 avenues. And recently, I just had a friend that I just, that was dear to me, that was close to me. I felt that was my best friend. And he was involved with boxing with me. So he was very dear to me. I respect his opinion, his values, and on some terms and some issue. Now, this is an obstacle I had to get over because I knew that I had to draw the line where I had to get, for no longer he couldn't work with me no more. And getting rid of him kind of hurt me, because he'd been there with me from the beginning. So, me trying to get myself together, get my thoughts together, and prepare myself because I don't know. I don't know what's the outcome that can happen from this. This man was dear to me. So by me saying I don't want you nowhere around, I don't want you no longer with me again, it gave. I never thought I'd be saying those words out of my mouth. This is an obstacle that hey, this is kind of heavy on me that I had to, that I had to face up to. And this is recently also, so I'm still going through it right now as I speak to you about it. So by getting rid of him, affect me in a sense that, me and my wife talked about it over the family, over the dinner and stuff, dinner table, and going through it. Now I'm trying to see how it's going to affect my boxing career. I think that once that everything gets going, my confidence get back to the point it needs to be in as far as training with the proper trainers and team structure around me, everything to pretty much flow. That's one obstacle I had to get over. My other obstacle was when I fought Andrew Galata, when I got knocked down twice in the first round, and we still had 10 more rounds to go. Well, I'm sorry, 9 more rounds to go. I scored a 10-round knockout at the end of that fight when I was losing the fight. So a lot of people pretty much counted me out, and they had no faith or belief in me. So I had to pretty much make a believer out of them, by breaking his will, my opponent's will, with my will and determination. And those are things those things that I had to accomplish within myself, and rather the world saw it or not, as far as how far I came and where I came from to establish that. It was something I had to do within myself, and having scoring a 10-round knockout when everybody had me counted out was really an effect on my life, and pretty much had me in a position where I needed to be in right now to really go shoot after the title, which I wanted to.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
I think I've been pretty lucky. I haven't actually had any real major obstacles in the way of me getting as high up as I wanted to go, other than, and people I think overlook the day-to-day obstacle of committing yourself to doing what it takes to become the best at what you do. It does take a lot of dedication. There's a lot of things that can go wrong day by day with your training. It's difficult to stay focused. The people in your life, the people around you, sometimes can drag you down. You go through some stale times when you're sparring, or nothing feels like it comes out right. And that's a lot of what separates the contenders from the champions, is the ability to work through that and to stay focused and to not get wrapped up in a lot of negative things that can really drag you down. So that's probably the biggest day-to-day obstacle. As far as a one-time obstacle, something to overcome, my world title fight in the next to last round, I was hit with someone tried to throw what's called a spinning back fist, and turns to the back and hits you with the back of their hand. The guy wasn't looking when he threw it and hit me in the eye with his elbow. And it shattered the orbit where the eye sits, just blew out all the bones. I had to finish that round and fight the next round with it pinched off the muscles that control the up and down movement of the eye, and I had instant double vision. Had to finish the last round kind of fighting like this and running and keeping them away from me. So that was wound up being a pretty big obstacle and something to overcome when I went to go back into the ring. Am I really sure that this is healed now? I got a titanium plate in my head now and all that kind of stuff. It's a rough one.
Have you been back in the ring?
Absolutely.
Since that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was that fight won by a decision?
It was a
So
decision.
so you must have had that fight well in hand if your last round you had double vision and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Wow.
It's kind of actually made me work a little bit more on the power of my game because I'm not much of a knockout fighter. I usually pretty much I dominate a fight, but not really putting people away. I put that guy down 4 times over the course of the bout and just couldn't finish him. If I
Wow.
had done that, I would have never had that injury. So.
Right. So that made you then work on strengthening training?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So apparently I've gotten, the skills down where they need to be for the caliber of
Wow.
opponent that I'm facing. But got to start getting them out of there sooner.
I'd call that an obstacle,
Yeah.
that happening. Talking about knockouts, I believe we have a little clip here of Michael Grant. Could we go to that?
Wearing the black trunks with white trim and weighing in at 245 pounds. He's originally from Chicago, Illinois, but now fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, undefeated with a record of 12-0, 9 KOs. He is Michael Grant.
Left hook sends no 30-some seconds left to go. Good work downstairs, and there goes top. Big shot there by Grant with the left hook.
All right, well, there were a few knockouts. I wish we'd have seen Andrew Galatas. I mean, I got to see it in person, but hopefully we'll get another tape of you with
You
that.
had the best seat in the house then.
I did. That was great. One thing I noticed, like reading your bio, was that an awful lot of your decisions are in the 10th round, or your knockouts rather,
Yeah.
are in the 10th round. Like 6 out of your last 8 fights were the 10th round. What's the deal with that?
Well,
Coincidence?
no, not really. It's just, my style wears and tears a person down. I'm not everybody has their own style. Tyson has his own style. Evander has his own style. Riddick Bowe, they had Lennox Lewis. All of them has their own style. And I'm not like a first 3-round guy that really put you out to go out all out. I drag you along and let you suffer.
Okay.
Just
Just tire them out and wear them down.
Out, and 10th, 11th, 12th round coming around, then hopefully you got some left in the tank. But if not, then pity on you.
Then it's your round. All right, that's cool. How about you? Is there a pattern to your to how your matches seem to go? Are they always for a set number of rounds?
No, it's like I said, a lot of my fights wind up being decisions.
Okay.
Usually I got to catch somebody right. As far as I've been going so far to knock them out. But it's usually been, I'll play around first round, maybe 2 rounds, just kind of see what somebody's got. And once I'm able to touch them right, and after the first or second round, I usually have somebody figured out. And it's all downhill
Then
after
you're on
that.
your way. Okay. All right, cool. What else have we got, guys?
My name's Liam McCall. I'm a freshman here at Norristown and a member of FBLA. I was wondering, what suggestions would you give to somebody looking to enter your sport?
Right, go ahead.
Okay. Work hard. That's the best suggestion I can give you. If you're going to go try and make it, really, this is going to wind up applying to anything that you ever do. You need to decide, this is what it takes to be who I want to be, and stick to your guns. I've been training at this for a long, long time, and I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything like that. It was, if I don't know, kids go out and party, I don't know what's going on at high school parties these days, but it certainly gets worse when you get to college. Kids doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So you go decide, I want to be a kickboxer, I want to be a boxer. I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to smoke, I'm not going to do drugs, I'm not going to do anything like that. People get the idea in their head that it's going to make them uncool. That's a crock. You go out to parties and say, I'm not drinking because, I'm training, I'm a boxer and I'm on such and such a team and this and that. People dig that.
They respect it,
right,
absolutely.
Exactly. It's not like, you're not doing this whole, no, I can't. It's, you're doing it because you've made a choice that you want to be the best that you can be. That's really the best advice I can give, is to decide what you want to be and then do whatever you got to do to be there, and don't let that other stuff get in the way.
That's Good advice. Mike, what have you got?
Yeah, the best advice that I can give you on that, it goes like this. It's like a relationship, just like your mom and dad have, just like you and your girlfriend have. Nobody want to get caught cheating on each other, you know. That's how you look at your wants and your direction on you being a professional athlete. You don't cheat your sport. You fall in love with it. I mean, as far as this is going to be, if it's going to be your bread and butter, you fall in love with it. Bottom line, you can't be drinking and then go in and work, 2 hours on a bag or whatever type of contact sport you're gonna be doing. You can't be out partying all night. You're cheating your sport. So what I want to say is just don't cheat your sport. Fall in love with it. Dedicate yourself. Commitment, just like a relationship.
It's great advice, like for anything in life, guys.
Right, yeah. If you want to be an accountant, it's the same
Work
thing.
hard
Right,
and
exactly.
don't cheat. It's perfect. Yeah.
You will love your results.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any questions from the ladies in the audience? All right.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Muniz. I'm a junior at the school, and I'm in FBLA. I just wanted to know from both of you, what is your favorite match, and why is it your favorite match?
My favorite match is, I can say it. I fought last year in 2000. I fought Lennox Lewis, and I got destroyed in the second round knockout. But it was a wake-up call, and I'm thankful for what Lennox did to me because it eliminated some of the people that I can see now that shouldn't have been around me, that I know now that's not beneficial to me, and you can pretty much tell it wasn't it was the money that they was hanging on to. It was the going out, the notoriety going out. Oh yeah, I'm with Mike Grant. Yeah. All the high glam and glory. When we go to Atlantic City, go to New York, go to Vegas. You mention my name, you get free stuff. So pretty much when Lennox did that, and I had that happen to me, it kind of washed away. You kind of see people just falling off. So I'm thankful for that night of April 29th, that I had of 2000, and that was until that point I was riding high. I had a real highs, like I was going. I was on cloud 9 with my success and of being a superstar. And by Lennox, who's a hell of a fighter, and going out there and exposing me like that, it was a great experience for me, and gave me a wake-up call. Next time I go around, it's pity on him. 2 times, then if it happened to me twice, then I deserve it. But 1 time, it's pity on him.
So with a record of 31-1, now you know that one loss was to Lennox Lewis. You wouldn't think that would be his favorite match or most memorable match. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope you get the rematch.
Yeah, I will.
I'll be there.
I will.
I guess the easy favorite match would be my world title fight. That was what I've been working for since 1991 when I started doing kickboxing. Aside from that, probably my favorite match would be I fought for a East Coast title against a guy that was an intercontinental champion that wasn't putting his title on the line, but it was easily the highest caliber of opponent I'd faced to date. And on top of that, it was in Atlantic City. Most of my fights had been like down the East Coast or France, a couple times in Russia. So I never really fought somewhere where people could see me kickbox from my hometown. So it was great to have a whole big bunch of people out there, and it was very nerve-wracking having a guy of his caliber out there, and went out and just annihilated the guy. He didn't win 1 round on any of the judges' scorecards, and it was a fantastic feeling of beating a guy of that caliber in front of all my home people. So
That's great. Now, your title was in April of '99.
Yes.
Your light heavyweight title.
Yes.
When will you have to defend that again?
It's whenever they get around to finding somebody that wants to put on the show that has, it's like a
Okay.
whole big thing. You
Right.
got guys that are coming up in rankings and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so you can just kind of hold the title and wait to hear who wants to come get it from you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, and I have titles with a couple different organizations at a couple different weight classes. So it's pretty much anywhere within the range of middleweight to light heavyweight. I'll fight whoever they have for me, whatever weight they want
So
me
then
at.
you have to lose weight or gain weight depending on the match.
Mhm.
Okay. Kind of like wrestling or how they do that
Right.
in wrestling. Yeah. When's your next scheduled match?
Right now, it's unknown. So
Okay.
I'm
Again, you're
maybe looking for some time in I want to say June.
okay.
Yeah, first quarter of June.
Okay. All right. What else do we have out here? Boy, we're going to be here for a while with all these hands.
Hi, my name's Dennis Wood. I'm a member of DECA here at Norristown. I was just wondering, after a match, like, how do you cool down from it? Like, get ready or, like, cool down from the match?
I sleep.
That's it, man. That's it.
Consensus here on that
yeah,
one.
I like to get some good rest, man. Usually, right after a fight, assuming that I'm not all banged up, usually go out with whoever's coming out to see me fight, and we'll, hang out, go out to dinner or something like that, something a little late night. But then I just want to rest, take a week or two off doing any kind of training, and just relax a little, start enjoying the feeling of victory.
Yeah. With me, Dennis, it's a little different because, I'm fighting 12 o'clock at night. I'm usually in the bed by then. So now I got this like extreme high, going right now. I just knocked the guy out or just won or whatever, and everybody tell me, let's go to a club and let's go party. I said, y'all go right on. Y'all go right on. Give me a club sandwich and probably pop in a movie or something. But I can't even sit in my room. I gotta walk the lobby. I gotta walk the hallway and sit still. But then that's a problem then because I get mugged, by people that just want autographs or whatever. So I find myself pacing my hallway, doing something, taking a hot bath and just trying to occupy time till the sun come up. We getting out of there, jumping and leaving. But yeah, cooling down is you just let time take its place, and pretty much till you start getting tired, you start nodding, then I fall out. I go to sleep right then. But it's difficult, man. It's difficult because I fight at 12 o'clock, and I'm not getting back into my room at like 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock. I'm still amped up. I just let time take its place, and then I simmer down.
Okay. Mike? Oh, okay.
I'm Chris Bronsati, a 12th grader in FBLA and DECA, and I had two questions. First, I want to know if either of you have ever thought about quitting your sport and getting into a different profession. And I also want to know, Michael, after a fight like the Lennox Lewis fight, do you watch the tape over and over and try to see what you could have done differently, or do you try to put it in the past and never think about it again?
Okay. The first question, I can. What was the first question again?
Have either of you ever thought about quitting your sport and getting into a different profession?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I've thought several times about quitting the sport, or sometimes thought about, how did I get into this sport? Because I was so good in basketball and baseball and football. What made me come to this sport? Yes, I thought about several times quitting my sport. But I'm a religious guy, so prayer was on. I just kept praying. I knew I had God on my side and working with me. I knew God was on my opponent's side too. So, but still, I just kept praying and just asking for an answer, asking for some direction. But it all worked out. It still worked out. I still committed myself and don't cheat my sport. One day just keep leading to kept leading to another. Now the question with Lennox Lewis again was.
He said, but did you like to put it out of your mind, or do you think about
watching
it?
You know what?
Yeah, watch the tape.
Of course, the following week it was on pay-per-view one week, and the next week the HBO showed it. So you got to watch yourself, right? See how good you're looking in the locker room, whatever, coming out down the runway. You got to look at all that, It was, looking at all that was cool, but knowing the result, the turnout was, you kind of doing this, to yourself. But yeah, it was exciting. I gotta say, it was exciting. It was exciting. By me being the baby of 9 in my family, and I had probably everyone who I don't know in my family there watching TV or somewhere just reaching out to me, trying to get a hold to me. And it's amazing, man, how many people gonna try to get a hold to you the day of the fight. You know what I mean? People you haven't even heard of. So you're thinking about all of that, right? So I'm sitting on my couch, me and my wife and the kid watching, and my daddy, my son is like, Daddy, there go you, Daddy, there go you. And I'm going through the motions and everything. I'm moving my head while watching TV and stuff. And then I go to the ground. My son is like, Daddy, you got knocked out. Daddy, you got knocked out, Daddy. So I'm like, oh, shut this kid up. Shut this kid up. You better get the kid. Get the kid, girl. Get the kid. So I'm like, I'm going through all this, and it's kind of, I had fun with it. I don't watch the tape no more because it's behind me. I know Lennox Lewis, taught me pretty much a real valuable lesson, and I accept that, and I appreciate it. And pretty much he called, and I thank him for making something that was invisible visible. And as far as the people hanging on to me and stuff, and I look from that day on to move on, never watch the tape again. But I know exactly the feeling when I get there again.
Randy, how about you? Have you ever thought about giving up the sport?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of abuse that your body goes through over the course of training, and you got to start to wonder when our punches to the head start taking a toll, and how long are you going to keep doing this? So it's like a question almost that you ask yourself every day. Is, how long do you want to keep doing this? I have some goals that I want to still want to achieve. So I'm going to give it a couple more years of doing that, and then.
Well, and you've managed to take your talent and put it into a business.
Right.
Which is Fit
right.
Kicks.
So,
right.
Hopefully that'll carry on after the actual fighting's done.
It's a wise thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can probably a lot of things where you see kickboxers sort of semi-retire. If they get a couple world titles here and there in different organizations, different weight classes, and they get a name for themselves, they start and pick and choose fights. They aren't really fighting on a regular basis every 3-4 months. But when a money show comes around, something comes in their area, there's going to be a big pay-per-view event, they'll do one of those things. It's one of the kind of weird things about kickboxing versus boxing. I mean, they're very similar sports, but you very often see kickboxers fighting into an older age, once or twice a year, versus boxing, you really got to work to stay sharp.
All right. I know we have a question over here. The hand, I keep seeing the hand go up. Mike, yeah, would you pass that over there? Thanks.
My name is Joe Keiko Inouye. I'm a sophomore here at Norristown. I was wondering if you guys make amends with your enemies after the fights at all. Like, did you ever talk to Lennox Lewis after the fight?
Yeah.
And you talk to your,
Yeah.
whether you win or lose, you still talk to him?
That's all. It's excuse me, man. Let me take that.
Go ahead.
It's the business. That's all. I have no animosity with my opponent. It's all a business, and pretty much people like yourself and others, pay to watch it. They don't pay for the after effect. The after effect is love and kindness. So we greet each other with hugs, handshakes, phone calls, whatever, and that's about it. But definitely, yeah, we speak upon each other.
Yeah, I think people really overestimate the idea that there's some kind of violence going on. They look at boxing, kickboxing as a violent sport and this and that. There's no anger or anything towards anybody from anybody. For the most part, in boxing and kickboxing, people are gentlemen. They greet each other after the fight. You might even go out, to the same club and hang out, and friends. Most of the time that you see trash talking is either just done to build hype for a fight, or it's just a case where you happen to find a couple of guys that just don't like each other. But for the most part, we know when I'm fighting a guy, we'll show up for the weigh-in, hey, how you doing? Best of luck to you, and same thing after the bout.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. We're going to take one more question from Kurt.
I'd like to ask the question to both of you about two different people. Would you ever fight Tyson? And if you had the chance, would you go up against Jet Li?
All right, gentlemen, who
Me
wants that
fighting
one
Tyson
first?
is not even a question. Yeah, I'm in this business to fight the best. So that's not even a question. Yes, I would fight Mike Tyson and beat him.
In the 10th.
As far as Jet Li goes, really, Jet Li's not really a kickboxer. He's a martial arts guy. As far as fighting him in the ring, I'd beat him without a doubt. I mean, he's considerably smaller, and he's a talented martial artist, but he's not a kickboxer. In the same way that if you got a guy on the street and he's beating the crap out of guys, he's a good street fighter, doesn't mean you slap gloves on him that he's going to be beating Mike, right? It's a whole different thing. So once you've put the gloves on and you're in the ring, it's a whole nother game. That's my spot. On the street, he can have my keys, he can have my wallet, he can have whatever he wants. You know what I mean? I'm not, he's a talented, martial artist. He's a good self-defense guy. He's very devastating techniques. I wouldn't want to mess with him in a dark alley. But not the rings. It's my spot.
Yeah,
All right. All right. Well, gentlemen, I thank you very much. I hope everyone in the audience, especially the students, realize that you have two quality people here on the show today that have been honest with you and told you all their thoughts and feelings from the heart. It was absolutely honest. You could see their honesty coming through. But more important, what they've done by spending this hour with us here today is showing that whatever your profession is, if you're a professional athlete or you're in business or what have you, giving back to the community is a big part of life. And that's what they're doing here, talking to you folks and getting you on the right path. And I thank you very much for taking times out of your incredible schedules to do
It's
this.
funny that you mentioned that about giving back, because we're trying to start a program now over at Fit Kicks that appeals to high school and college students. It winds up being kind of expensive if you've ever looked into a karate school or something like that. Some of the way that it gets set up is really not beneficial for kids. So we're trying to set up a program where we can make either boxing and or kickboxing more accessible to high school and college students.
Wow.
So.
That'd be great. And you got an audience right here that you can survey to see their interest and whatnot. All right, great. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Montco Focus. I hope you've tuned into our other shows. And I think coming up next we have, I believe it's a show on how to become a millionaire. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, audience. Thank you both very much. Mike, thank you.
Man, Mike, you got it.
And you guys were great. Thank you.